Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. So this will be our final meeting for the semester. And we have two topics to go through today. Okay, ada topic about time value of money, mathematics of finance. And the final one would be the capital budgeting. Okay, so before we do the capital budgeting, we need to go through the concept of time value of money first, because there are few techniques dalam capital budgeting that requires us to use time value of money concept. So therefore, I'm gonna go through. Kalau ikutkan your sequence, mathematics of finance ni topik last kali, topik 11. Okay, so 9 sebelum ni is long term financing. So 10 is capital budgeting, then 11 mathematics of finance. But I bring forward mathematics of finance ni dulu sebab like I said, this approach ataupun this concept will be used in capital budgeting for our topic number 10 later. So what is mathematics of finance? This is basically the concept of time value of money. And again, what is time value of money? Time value of money is a concept of money that you have at every different point of time will give you different values. Okay, in short, if you have a certain amount of money today, katakanlah if you have 1,000 ringgit today, that money can be invested and will give you higher values in the future. So that is the concept of time value of money. Okay, so 1,000 that you have today is not the same in the future because that money can be invested and can be higher value lah in the future. Okay, bear with me. Kadang-kadang I dengar ada orang nak masuk tu, so I have to go back to this page. Now, in the time value of money, we have two broad categories, which is known as the present value and also the future value. Okay, so the name itself represent apa maksud dia. Present value meaning the value of that money ataupun a certain amount of money tu today at present time. Okay, so meaning we're gonna bring value from the future. Okay, so bila kita cerita duit daripada masa akan datang ni bukanlah duit datang daripada mana, maknanya if you invest certain amount of money and you expect that value in the future. Okay, kalau you beli mesin contohnya, mesin can generate income contohnya. So income dari masa akan datang expected tu, kita nak bawa that value to current value, to today's value. Itu konsep present value. We want to present value what will be the value from the future to now, to current. Okay, so that's present value. So the opposite would be future value. Okay, future value means value yang kita bawa daripada hari ini to the time in the future. Okay, so the present value konsep ni kita panggil konsep of discounting. Okay, duit daripada akan datang, contohnya macam ni, katakanlah 5 tahun, you are expected to receive 10,000 ringgit and you want to bring this 10,000 to today's value. Okay, berapa value dia sekarang? So the process is panggil discounting. Okay, untuk future value pula dia the opposite, like I said. This is what we call as compounding. So totally the opposite lah. So maknanya if it's now you terima 10,000, okay, what will be the value in the future? Okay, so this is compounding. Okay, because we use the compound interest punya technique. So this is why we call them compounding. Okay, but dalam present dengan future value ni dia punya pecahan dia lagi lah. We have like this example is single payment, whereby the transaction ni berlaku sekali je. Okay, but there are some cases whereby the transaction can be multiple times. Okay, so kita akan go through lah the categories of present value and also future value. But dari segi broad categories, we have two types, present versus future. And present, as I said, this is discounting technique. We bring the value from the future to current value. And kalau compounding, it's in reverse. We bring today's value to the future's value. So the rule of thumb, the present value of a certain transaction tu mesti lagi rendah daripada future. So meaning when we do discounting, from this 10,000, the value mesti lagi rendah. Okay, when we do present value, the value must be lower than 10,000 dalam case ni. Okay, but for future value, kita balik lah. So,
sorry, doctor.
yeah.
Are you presenting something?
You tak nampak I tak share daripada tadi. Allah. Okay, tak apa, you tadi tu nothing much lah. You just dengar je apa I explain. You should okay, so nanti tengok video balik lah. Dalam video you should see kot the slide tadi. I don't know, maybe kot, tapi tak apa. I baru dekat main page ni, tak masuk pun dalam lagi. So in short, as I said, the compounding future value value dia must be higher than the current value. So that's the rule of thumb untuk present versus future value. Okay. Okay, this one I dah mention tadi. The RM1 today is different from RM1 in the future because that value can be invested because you can invest and it can grow within time. Okay, ni I tak nak cerita lah. So, I will skip this slide kejap and I will go to this table ataupun this whiteboard. So, kita ada dua tadi. We have present value and we have future value. Okay. So first category yang kita akan go through is what we call as single payment. Single payment. Okay, for both dua-dua ada single payment. So the concept of present value, macam contoh I cerita tadi, I put let's say lah 5 years kat sini let's say you are expected to receive, I don't know, 15,000 in 5 years time. Okay, dalam nak cari present value, we need to know the estimated rate of return. Okay, mesti ada rate of interest atau rate of return kat dalam case ni. Or else we cannot assume what will be the present value. Okay, let's say the rate of return is 5%, katakanlah 5%. Okay, and the question asks us to find the present value. Okay, what will be the present value of 15,000 ringgit, which you will receive in 5 years time with a rate of return of 5%. Contohnya, what would be the present value? Okay, dari tahun kelima kita bawa ke hari ini. Okay, so therefore, we're gonna use this simple formula I can say, okay, to find the present value. So in short, letak PV, okay, the present value. The formula would be, I'm going to use the title ataupun the amount figure. Okay, AMT ni amount taklah full dulu. Amount. Okay, some books may use the word payment, PMT ataupun AMT amount. Okay, regardless. This is basically the principle ataupun dalam case ni the amount you receive ataupun amount of deposits. Okay, amount yang you pinjam pun boleh. Amount borrowed, amount you deposit. So that's why I use the word amount je. Okay, the principle. Okay, then we multiply with, since this is present value so dalam bracket ni pun akan gunakan present value interest factor. So PVIF ni adalah table yang kita akan gunakan kejap lagi. I will show you, I will share with you also present value tables. Okay, K and N. Okay, so this is the formula untuk present value. So PV is present value equals to amount, which is the principal, multiply with PVIF, sebab this is present value, PVIF, K and N. What is K? K is the rate of return, the interest. N is the time. Okay, so tiga information yang sebenarnya kita nak. The amount, the rate of interest, K, and the time. So all three kita boleh dapat dalam simple chart I buat ni tadi. Okay, we have the principal 15,000. The K is 5% and is 5 years. So if you want to utilize the information, masukkan dalam formula ni. So the amount is 15,000. PVIF, the K is 5%. The N is 5 years. Okay, so this is where we need to use what we call as time value of money table. Kalau you tengok past year questions, dalam past year questions, contohnya, I dah buka satu past year kat sini. December 2015, dekat the very end of the questions ni, selepas dia punya habis plan, dia letak appendix. Okay, so ada 4 tables kat belakang ni. Ada future value interest factor, FVIF, future value interest factor annuity, in short FVIFA. The third one, present value interest factor, PVIF, and lastly PVIFA. Okay, present value interest factor annuity, PVIF. So kalau you tengok dalam yang I baru tulis ni tadi, okay, for present value, we're going to use PVIF sebab we are using, atau we are trying to find present value. So PVIF ni ada dalam table 3, PVIF ini. Okay, ataupun I also upload kalau tak salah, kalau tak nanti let me know, this present value table dalam kita punya notes juga. Okay, kalau tak nanti let me know, nanti I upload. So it's the same basically, and PVIF ada dekat table 3 juga. Okay, so I'm going to use this table. Okay, so since you don't have final exam pun, you tak perlulah refer dekat final exam punya ni, and so you can use this later on kalau nak guna. Okay, so how to use this table? Okay, as I said, we have two information yang kita guna dalam bracket ni. In the bracket, we have two information, PVIF table dia. We have 5% K and N 5 years. So kita ada satu items, satu horizontal information, satu lagi vertical. Okay, the horizontal is the rate of interest, and the vertical is our time, our period. So based on the example tadi, the rate of interest is 5%, okay, and the period is 5 years. So what we need to do is to cross-reference 5% and 5 years and cari interest factor dia. Dalam case ni, when we cross-reference 5% and 5 years, kita dapat ni point ni, 0.7835. And that will be our interest factor. Kita panggil dia interest factor sebab this is present value interest factors. Okay, this is the interest factor. 5%, 5 years. So 0.7835. So we're going to use this amount, 0.7835, to represent yang dalam bracket ni. And we're going to multiply this with our value of principal 15,000. Darab je terus. So 15,000 times 0.7835. So it's 11,752 ringgit and 50 cents. Okay, so this is the value of this 15,000 yang kita expect to receive 5 years from now. In today's value, it's 11,752 ringgit and 50 cents. Okay, so this is the present value. Okay, the concept of present value. So the 15,000 we are expected to receive 5 years from now. Equivalent to value dia sekarang hanyalah 11,752 ringgit saja. Okay, so that's the present value concept. Untuk future value, again kita ada single payment juga for the first type ni. And now it's in reverse. Okay, I gunakan katakanlah 4 tahun kat sini, and you are expected, bukan expected, you are receiving sekarang, I don't know, 8,000 katakan, with the rate of interest available in the market, let's say 3%. Okay, what will be the value of this 8,000 kalau you bring this to here? Okay, berapa value dia dalam masa 4 tahun akan datang with a 3% returns. Okay, so nak cari future value, I'm going to use FV, okay, future value, and you will see the formula akan nampak identical dengan present value. Okay, the formula punya layout will be quite identical. Maksudnya, still we're going to use amount. Okay, amount ni is amount of principal. But we multiply with, sebab kita nak cari future value, so we're going to use future value interest factor. Okay, so the one in the bracket must consistent dengan apa yang kita nak cari. Kalau present value tadi PVIF, kalau future value FVIF. Okay, and the rest will be the same, K and N. With the K is the rate of interest, N is the time. Okay, again 3 information je, amount, K and N. So dalam case ni, the amount is 8,000 FVIF. The K is 3%. And dia 4 years. So 8,000 multiply with, okay, the one in the bracket, you don't have to calculate, kita kena refer table. So what table? Future value interest factor, FVIF. So we go back to this table. So future value ada dekat table 1. Okay, make sure you refer to the correct table. Future value interest factor or FVIF. Ni, FVIF. Okay, and the rate was 3% tadi. 3%, 4 years. So look for 3% and period dia 4. So it's here. 1.1255. 1.1255. Okay. Still, kita multiply je. Sama, tak kira lah present ataupun future value. We just need to multiply with the principal. So 8,000 times 1.1255. So we have 9,004. Okay, 9,004 ringgit. Okay, remember the rule of thumb the future value always higher than the present. So present dia 8, so future dia 9,004. Sama juga macam tadi. The future is 15 but the present is 11. Okay, must be like that. So that's why the present value tadi, especially kalau dia single payment the present value mesti less than 1 value dia. Value dia mesti less than 1. Kalau for future value must be more than 1. Sebab kita nak compound, yang this one kita nak discount. Okay, so this is the first concept of present dengan future value, which is single payment. Transaction tu berlaku sekali je. The nature of deposits ataupun nature of pinjaman tu happen one off. Okay, happen one off. But sometimes, okay, for number 2, it can happen in multiple transactions. Okay, dia boleh berlaku lebih daripada sekali. Okay, so untuk ni maybe I focus on future value sebab senang sikit nak nampak. Let's say kalau tadi ni you invest 8,000 sekali je, and then you want to know at the end of year 4 berapa your total deposit now after 4 years. Okay, tapi transaction ni berlaku sekali je. But now let's say, okay, for the second multiple transaction MT, what happen kalau transaction tu berlaku lebih daripada sekali? So what does it mean? So I'm going to recreate the scenario kat sini. So katakanlah sama 0 to 4 years, and now they deposit 8,000. Okay, and second year, tengah-tengah daripada 4 tahun ni, dia nak deposit another transaction 4,000. Okay, so ada 2 transaction kat sini. So that's why nama dia multiple. Anything more than 1 is considered multiple already. Okay, so this is example. So 8,000 sekarang and then 4,000 in 2 years time. Okay, so the question tanya what would be the value, the total value after year 4, and katakanlah rate dia still at 3% juga. Both at 3%. So what will be the value, total value? So if this is the case, kita ada 2 transactions with 2 different values. Okay, if question tanya untuk future sebab soalan tanya what will be happen in the year 4 ni, maknanya nak cari future value, we need to calculate one by one. So ini kalau ada 2 transaction macam ni, we need to calculate first for 8,000, second for 4,000, then kita combine the value in year 4. That's why kita kena bawa semua value ke tahun keempat baru kita combine. Kita tak boleh plus kat sini and then baru cari future, no. We're going to bring this individually to year 4 and then baru kita add everything dekat year 4 punya values. Okay, so like I said, we need to calculate one by one. So first kita cari FV yang pertama untuk 8,000 ni. Since I use the same information as the first example, kita dah tahulah for our first stream yang 8,000 ni, after we bring to year 4, okay, I'm gonna rewrite dia balik, 8,000, and then our future value, tadi 3% 4 is 1.1255 kan? 1255, so bila kita multiply, we get 9,004 ringgit. Okay, so this is our first stream. Okay, but now we need to know this 4,000 pula. What will be the value in year 4? So untuk the second stream, I'm going to write FV2, future value for the second stream. The principal now is 4,000, tetapi the one in the bracket is not 1.1255 sebab this is for 3% and 4. Okay, daripada year 0 sampai year 4, memang 4 tahun lah untuk 8,000, but for 4,000 ni, it's just in between these two years, year 2 until year 4. So here the N is only 2 years untuk yang 4,000 ni. So kita tak boleh guna yang 4 years punya. So we need to refer to FVIF table. The K is 3%, but the N is 2. Okay, N dia 2. So 4,000, FVIF 3% 2. Go back to this table. 3% and 2 would be this one, 1.0609. So 1.0609. So 4,000 times 1.0609 would be 4,243 and 60 cents. Okay, so this would be the value untuk second flow ni. Second cash flow ni. Right? So this value will be 4,243.60 cents. So what does it mean? The total would be 9,004. 9,004 plus 4,243.60 cents. So 13,247.60 cents. Okay, so this would be our answer lah untuk these multiple transactions. So kita ada dua transactions, 8,000 now and then 4,000 2 years from now, and we want to know what will be the values, total values in year 4. Okay, so kalau ada dua macam ni, we need to calculate one by one lah. Tapi kalau ada 5, katakanlah setiap tahun ada with a different value. So we need to calculate 4 times untuk 4 different transactions. Okay, kalau ada 10 tahun, ada 10 different values, yeah, you have to calculate one by one. Now, what if, okay, still multiple transactions, but what if dia berlaku multiple times, tetapi the value is consistent? Okay, I bring this down. Contohnya macam ni. Ada 3 tahun macam ni. Transaction dia, you deposit 1,000 setiap tahun. Okay, 1,000 consistent, and second, timing dia pun consistent. Kalau macam tadi ni, this is not considered consistent sebab dia ada skip 1 year kat sini. Ada skip 1 year. So this is not consistent. And satu lagi, the value pun tak sama. So this is just a normal multiple transactions. Tetapi ada jenis multiple transactions yang value dia sama setiap tahun and dia consistent. Okay, what is this? This is what we call as annuity. Annuity. Okay, so dalam notes tu nanti you can refer balik. Memang ada salah satu section selepas future dengan present. Okay, dia ada multiple cash flow tadi ada tunjuk juga. Is the concept of annuities. Okay, so annuities involve cash flow, mesti same amount, number one. And second, they happen each period. So each period ni can be monthly, can be annually. Okay, must be consistent. So bila these two requirement met, kita boleh panggil dia as annuities. Okay, so contoh kat sini kata hire purchase installment, you bayar RM300 setiap bulan for 60 months. Okay, this is example of annuities. You bayar your rental contohnya, your rental sebulan RM1,000 contohnya. So that is again another example of annuity. Right? So kalau annuity, okay, still consider multiple transaction macam ni, multiple cash flows. Tetapi with annuity, kita boleh simplify our calculations. Instead of we do one by one like this, okay, kita boleh je guna, maknanya kat sini kalau yang ni, you boleh je carry forward every values ni kepada year ketiga, gunakan satu-satu macam ni. Or, okay, untuk cara yang lebih mudah dan lebih cepat, we use what we call as future value. Sebab kita masih belah kanan ni semua future value Future value annuity. Tambah A kat situ. Future value annuity. And the formula would be the same. Still amount darab dengan, kalau FV tadi FVIF, okay, tapi kita ada A, so we add A, FVIFA. Okay, and okay, so again dalam bracket ni simply refer to a different tables. Remember kita ada 4 different tables. So far we've discussed about FVIF and then PVIF earlier. Okay, so we have 2 more. FVIFA, which is this one, ada kata A ni ataupun annuity kat dalam tu. And satu lagi PVIFA, as I said. So let's say I'm gonna calculate this one. Okay, katakanlah rate dia 6%. Okay, 6%, 3 years. Okay, walaupun dia multiple times bila kita nak letak amount ni, kita janganlah letak 1,000 times 3, 3,000 no. We just use, kita tahu setiap period tu dia bayar 1,000. So you're going to use that amount, 1,000 here. Okay, FVIFA is the table. The K is 6%. And the N is 3 years. Okay, 6%, 3 years. Make sure refer to the correct table. Sebab kalau kita tengok beza dia, mungkin sebab value dia tak besar, tak banyak beza. Kalau FVIF 6% 3 years is 1.1910. Untuk yang ni 6% 3 years is 3.1836. Okay, banyak jugalah 1 point something dengan 3 point something kan. So therefore, make sure you refer to the correct table. Kalau tak, jawapan you nanti tak represent the values. Okay, so 3.1836. So 1,000. So the value would be 3,183.60 cents. Okay, nampak We know they deposit 1,000 3 times dalam tempoh 3 tahun tu. So 3,000 tu basically is the principal. So 183 tu is actually the return, the profit. Okay, unlike the first transaction tadi, yang ni, yang 8,000 ni, dia deposit sekali je dia bukan every year, dia just one time and then at the end of year 4, dia dapat 9,000. Okay, tapi dalam case ni dia deposit every year 1,000. So at the end of year 3, dia dapat 3,183.60 cents. Okay, so this is the total values untuk annuity. So like I said, you boleh kira satu-satu kalau you nak macam ni guna konsep ni. Maknanya future value 1, 1,000 with 6% year 3 sebab ada 3 tahun. Then second 6% and year 2, 6% year 3. So ada 3. You boleh calculate one by one kalau you nak. You're gonna get the same answer. But why kita nak calculate satu-satu kalau kita boleh calculate semua at one go kan? So this is dengan syarat annuity sahaja. So how to know it's annuity? First, the value must be consistent. Dia tak boleh 1,000, lepas tu 1,500, lepas tu 1,000 balik. No, it's not annuity like that. Kalau ada je perbezaan, automatically you need to calculate one by one. Second, mesti consistent. Okay, kalau lah ada 5 tahun, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, katakan 5 tahun, 1,000 sini, next 1,000 juga, tapi tiba skip. Ni ada 1,000 kat sini. Okay, amount semua sama. Semua 1,000. Tetapi sebab ada skip ni, dia tak consistent in terms of the period tu, this is not annuity. Okay, kalau macam ni pun, you still kena calculate one by one. Okay, so that's annuity. Okay, sama juga dengan present value lah. Cuma present value, dia akan tanya what will be the value today. Okay, you are expected to receive, kalau selalunya annuity ni, you akan expected to receive, katakanlah 3 tahun juga. 1, 2, 3, katakan. So you are expected to receive 5,000 every year. 5,000 kat sini, 5,000 kat sini, 5,000 kat sini. So what will be today's value? So you kena bring back everything to today's value. What will be the PVA? So PVA again, formula dia adalah amounts PVIFA KN. Okay, so like I said, every time value of money punya formula, dia punya ini template dia sama je. Okay, the ones different is what we want to find and what table to refer to. So untuk PVA ni, it will be 5,000, amount dia 5,000. PVIFA, K letak berapa katakanlah 8%, 3 years. So tengok dalam table ni, PVIFA, last one, PVIFA, 8% 3 years, 2.5771. Okay, 2.5771. 2.5771. So the value is 12,885 ringgit and 50 cents. Okay, so kalau ikutkan, kalau you calculate without time value of money, you sepatutnya terima 15,000 kan yang dapat kan. You dapat 5,000 3 tahun. So sepatutnya you value dia 15,000 lah total. But when we use time value of money, the value will be lower than the expected sebab kita ada cost of capital ni. Sebab apa? Amount ni sepatutnya kita boleh invest, dapat amount ni. So kalau lah you ada dua option, dapat 15,000 hari ni lump sum ataupun 15,000 dalam tempoh 3 tahun. So the short answer, dapat 15,000 sekarang lump sum lah, sebab 15,000 tu kalau you invest with 8% sama return ni, you should get more than 15,000 already. Tapi kalau you dapat 15,000 staggered 3 years, for today's value hanyalah 12,885 sahaja value dia. Okay, so that's present value annuity. And last one untuk annuity ni, this assumption annuity yang saya letak ni berlaku at the end of the time. Dia berlaku dekat ujung. Okay, at the end. Yang ni lah, berlaku at the end of the period. So therefore, kita panggil yang tulis tadi ordinary annuity. Tetapi there are some types of annuity yang berlaku at the beginning. Okay, at the beginning. Okay, so therefore this yang berlaku at the beginning, dia akan berlaku kat depan ni lah macam ni. Kalau tadi dekat sini so kita bring forward ataupun bring back to today's value. Tapi untuk annuity due, yang due ni, dia berlaku dekat depan. So kalau dia compounding, kita kena compound dia one more. Bermaksud our formula tadi, formula untuk FVA ataupun PVA untuk annuity due I'm going to write FVA juga, tapi ada letter D sini menunjukkan dia annuity due. So what's the implication? Your formula kita kena alter a bit. We need to alter a bit. FVIFA juga, K and N. Cuma kita kena tambah 1 plus K dekat belakang. K, remember K is the rate of return. So kalau ni 6%, so 1 plus 6% lah. Macam ni kan. So 1 plus 6 bermaksud 1.06. Okay, so the amount yang you dapat ni kena darab dengan 1.06 dulu, baru darab dengan 1,000. So contohnya macam ni soalan ni. Katakanlah yang ni happen at the end, which is ordinary. Tapi kalau for annuity due, untuk information yang sama, so this 1,000 akan berlaku kat depan macam ni. Macam dalam notes tadi kan. So let's say lah, the amount is 1,000 juga. And FVIFA, K and N dia 6 and 3 ni is 3.1836. Sama juga. Okay. So for annuity due, kita kena darab dengan 1 plus K at the back. Okay, so 3.1836 kena darab dengan 1.06 baru darab dengan 1,000. So what happened? Our value of this future value punya cash flows would be 3374.62 cents. Okay. As you can see, bila dia annuity due, sebab dia berlaku at the beginning kan, so dia punya compounding tu lebih sekali kat sini. So therefore, the value is higher than the ordinary annuity. Okay, so macam mana nak differentiate between ordinary dengan normal ataupun ordinary? Look for the keyword beginning. Okay, the keyword beginning tadi. Sometimes they use the cash flow occurs at the beginning ataupun now ataupun immediately. Okay, so this is all referring to annuity due. So kalau due, jangan lupa plus 1 plus K kat belakang. Contohnya, contoh belakang ni yang due annuity due. Contohnya macam ni. So dia ada ni 1 plus K kat belakang ni. So nanti you can study balik lah apa yang saya cakap tadi 1 plus K at the back. Now let's try some exercise. Okay, sebab tak cukup masa ni nanti. So let's say kita try these two question lah. Encik Nizam contributes 1,500 ringgit per year for his child's education for the next 20 years. So we know this is the end, 20 tahun. If the bank pays compounded interest of 10%, so this is okay, how much money will be saved? Okay, so ni soalan dia lah, how much money will be saved? Okay, to solve time value of money questions, okay, you just follow these two simple steps. Bolehlah kata two simple steps. First, determine whether the question asks you to find ataupun the question give you information related to present ataupun future value. Okay, so that's your step number one. Tengok soalan nak suruh cari ataupun soalan tu bagi information related to future or present value. So untuk the first question ni, soalan tanya, how much money will be saved? Will kan? So therefore, this is future value lah. Soalan suruh cari, how money will be saved. Bukan what will be the value of that transaction today. Then itu kita tahu that's present value lah. Tapi dalam untuk soalan pertama ni, it's future value. Sebab dia tanya how much money will be saved. So that's step number one. Second, kita kena tahu sama ada dia single ataupun multiple transactions. Okay, so macam mana nak tahu dia bayar sekali ataupun bayar banyak kali? Look for keywords. What kind of keywords? Contohnya ni, they use the word per year ni. Okay, Encik Nizam contribute 1,500 ringgit. Memang nilai dia satu je, tetapi bukan dia bayar sekali je, dia bayar setiap tahun. So this is annuity. Ingat sebab value dia sama 1,500 and consistent setiap tahun. So this is example of annuity. So we know it's future value, we know annuity, so technically we know it's FVA. Okay, future value annuity. So if you recall, future value annuity formula dia amount plus multiply with FVIFA K and N. Right. So amount dia adalah 1,500. Dia akan deposit 1,500 ringgit every year. FVIFA K and N. The K is 10%, N is 20 years. Okay, 10%, sorry. FVIFA, so make sure refer to the correct table. FVIFA, this one. Berapa persen tadi? 10%. 10%, 20 years. So 10%, 20 years is here. This one. And 20 years, 10%. 57.275. Okay, 57.275. Okay, multiply with 1,500. So we have 85,912 ringgit and 50 cents. Okay, so that's the value Cik Nizam will save after 20 years. Okay, dia save dengan assumption dia 1,500 ni dia akan consistently deposit every year without fail, and dia tak withdraw balik lah. That's the assumption. 1,005 every year without fail for 20 years with the rate of return dia fixed 10%. So kalau rate dia berubah pun tak boleh dapat lah amount ni. Ni again assumption dia, rate dia fixed 10% untuk 20 years. So after 20 years, Cik Nizam will have 85,912 ringgit and 50 cents in the account for the child's education. Okay, so that's how to solve time value of money punya question. Baca senario dia. Okay, first determine whether soalan suruh cari or sometimes soalan tak suruh cari pun, but they give you that. Sebab apa? If you notice dekat formula ni, tak semestinya dia akan always cari yang dekat luar ni. It's not always future ataupun present values. It can be the K, it can be the installment amount, it can be the N juga. Okay, any of the four elements, the amount, the values, present ataupun futures, the amounts, the K ataupun the N, dia boleh cari salah satu je. As long as dia bagi yang the rest lah, macam selalunya dia akan bagi 3 ni. Amount, K and N, then we can find the values. Okay, tapi kalau dia nak suruh cari amount, they're gonna give you information regarding future value ataupun present value. Just like our second question ni. Okay, last one. You borrowed 193,456 and 80 cents from a bank to buy a house. Installment dia 24,000. So we know this is amount, 24,000 installments. Again, this is per year. So we know this is annuity. Just in case lah, I lupa nak cakap tadi. Kalau annuity, look for the words beginning tadi ataupun immediately. So kalau tak ada, you're gonna assume this ordinary annuity. Okay, kebanyakannya by default kita akan assume ordinary annuity. Kecuali kalau dia mention immediately, now, at the beginning contohnya. So tu semua annuity due dan kita kena guna yang 1 plus K dekat ujung tu lah. Or else, we're gonna assume it's normal one, ordinary. Okay, untuk dua-dua soalan ni, both are ordinary annuity. Okay, for the next 15 years, so this is our N. So soalan ni suruh cari interest rate, which is the K. What would be the K? So kalau suruh cari K, macam ni, we know the rest dia bagilah. N kita tahu 15 years. Amount still 24,000. So this 193 ni, so tinggal dua option lah. Is it future or present value? That will determine what will be our formula. Future ke present? You think this is future ke present value? Okay, look for the keyword. Keyword dia borrowed.
Present.
Okay, this is the present value. Okay, present value. And kita tahu this is annuity. So, then kita tahulah formula dia. Formula dia is PVA. Okay, PVA formula dia apa? Amount. Still sama. PVIFA KN. Right. But this time around, the PVA ni kita dah tahu. Soalan dah bagi. So, this would be 193. 456 80 cents. Amount dia 24,000. This one unknown. The K is unknown, but the N is 15 years. Okay. So yang tak tahu adalah K, but the rest kita dah tahu. So we need to solve this mathematically. So this 24,000, kita kena bring this to the left hand side. So maknanya 193, 456 divided by 24,000. So we dapat 8.0607. Kan? 193,456.8. Okay. So this one you dah bawa sini, sudah tinggal 8.0607. So the one in the bracket dia tinggal PVIFA. Still tak tahu K, but N dia 15. And remember the ones in the bracket, you kena refer down table. Okay, this one from the table. Tadi pun kita tengok table kan. Tapi cuma tadi kita tahu the K, sorry. We have the K. But here we don't know the K, but we have the N. And dia 15. So look in the table. Table mana? Table PVIFA sebab we know PVA. That's why you need to identify this correctly. Ni present ataupun future. Sebab kalau you tengok, kalau you ni define you as future, you akan tengok future punya table. Okay, so yes, I dah cakap tadi, correct is present value. Sorry. So present value, kena tengok dekat present value, interest factor, annuity, PVIFA. Kita tak tahu the K, yang atas ni kita tak tahu, yang horizontal tu we don't have the values, tetapi we have the N dia 15. And we know the interest factor dalam soalan tu tadi is 8.0607. So kena cari dalam ni 80607 and kebetulan it's here 80607. So 80607 at year 15 is equivalent to 9%. So therefore our answer would be K is 9%. How I know it's 9%? Refer to the table. Okay, refer to the table. It indicates 9% pada N yang ke-15. Okay, sama jugalah kalau soalan suruh cari N, you're gonna use the same approach. K dah atas tu tahu, cuma kita cari N interest factor yang mana. Okay, but the question is, the next question, sebab contoh tadi kita dapat exactly, but what if kalau dia tengah-tengah? In between the two rates. Contohnya 7.9 atau 7.8. 7.8 is in between 9% dengan 10% sebab is lower than 8 tapi higher than 7.6 yang 10%. So it must be 9 point something, but that something tu berapa persen? So ada cara nak calculate tapi I will explain this in our next topic. Okay, topik yang seterusnya nanti I akan explain. Alright, but for now I think that's about it for time value of money. Okay, time value of money, I'll stop sampai sini sahaja. Any questions before we take a very quick break ni? Okay, kalau tak ada soalan, let's take 3 minutes je, tak sempat nak bagi banyak masa nak break ni. 11:40, we're going to continue with topic 10, sepatutnya namanya topic 10 capital budgeting. So let's take a break for a while. Alright, let's move on to the final topic of the semester lah untuk paper kita ni. First of all, let me share. Kan terlupa nak share lagi. Okay. Pula summary ya. Okay. Okay, bear with me. Ni last time memang topic number 12, but now it's topic number 10 actually ya. We used to have 12 topics, tapi dia dah drop one topic, so we left with 11. So 11 tu dia kekalkan, kekalkan I think. Ya, dia kekalkan yang time value of money tu at 11, tapi yang 12 ni dia bawa ke topic 10. Okay, but technically you're supposed to go through time value of money first, baru boleh buat capital budgeting. And what is capital budgeting? So capital budgeting is a process ataupun a valuation technique that can be used for decision making. Okay, decision making. What kind of decision making? Usually, nama pun capital. So usually this decision relates dengan capital investments. What kind of investment? It can be new projects. Okay, you nak invest in new project ataupun to purchase new machines ataupun asset. Okay, these are example of capital investments. So usually both will have huge expenditure. Maknanya cost dia besar. And before we make decisions, kita tak boleh simply invest tanpa buat some proper budgeting ataupun proper analysis to decide whether this project ataupun this new assets will generate income ataupun tak, generate enough income ataupun tak. Okay, so both types of capital ni selalunya dia akan assume will give cash flow. Okay, dia akan bagi cash flow kepada kita lah as a company. So kalau dia involve in new project yang kita akan invest, obviously ada cost. Kan? Both akan melibatkan cost, and we're going to assume the project ataupun asset that we're going to invest akan bagi kita cash flows. And we want to see whether this cash flow is enough or not actually. Cukup ke nak cover kita punya cost untuk project ataupun cost of new asset ni? Because kalau tak cukup, why we invest kan at the first place? So that's why before we make the investment, we need to forecast whether this cash flows generated will be sufficient or not. Okay, this is really important if you involve in project punya department yang involve dengan business development yang nak your company nak dapat projek baru, and kita kena estimate berapa dia punya cash flow, and kita kena estimate juga what will be the cost. Okay, kalaulah the cash flow tu tak cover the cost, then why we invest? Like I said tadi, okay, it's gonna be a loss project yang rugi. Okay, but we cannot just take every figures directly, sebab like I said, duit, bila kita pasal duit, especially expected cash flow yang berlaku in the future, kalau konsep time value of money tadi, that amount of money in the future is not the same as today's value. So we need to bring that value to today's value juga. So that's why dalam capital budgeting akan ada banyak teknik termasuk yang menggunakan konsep time value of money. So that's why, like I said, we need to learn about time value of money first before kita buat capital budgeting. Okay, so let's go. Some of this I dah mention tadi So capital budgeting involve expected cash flow, okay, yang you generate, and also the cost. Cost ni selalu kita panggil dia IO, initial outlay. Okay, initial outlay. So this is technically the cost incurred from that project. So the whole process ni dipanggil capital budgeting in order to see whether the cash flow yang you generate ni enough or not to cover. And usually the assumption dia akan lebih daripada setahun. It must be more than 1 year. Right? The cash flow must be more than 1 year. This project tu dapat setahun je return. Okay, so it's not worth it lah. So must be more than 1 year. So sama juga kalau you beli machine. Kan machine tu you pakai untuk setahun je, must be for the lifespan of that machine, 5 years, 7 years, whatever. Okay, and that machine can generate returns juga. So ni contoh-contoh ada cakap tadi. Right, the importance pun basically sebab you nak make right decision. Like I said, you tak nak rugi. So therefore it's really, really important to use this capital budgeting. Okay, ni tak apa, tak payah cerita. I'm gonna go straight to the types of project. Okay, so kita ada dua jenis. Kita ada mutually exclusive and we have independent. This is when we have to decide. Okay, you ada project A versus project B. Katakan A versus project B. So you want to decide which one is the best contohnya. Ataupun you are considering A and B. Okay, tak semestinya pilih yang mana lagi bagus lah. Tapi you have two proposal kat sini. Satu project A, satu project B. So kalaulah project A and B ni dipanggil mutually exclusive, ini bermaksud these two projects, project A and B, are related. They perform the same task, and because of that, sometimes you may have limited resources contohnya. Okay, so maknanya if it's mutually exclusive, the word exclusive ni bermaksud choose only one. Or choose one only. Okay, mana-mana lah. Right, you just choose one out of the two. Kalau dalam case ni ada dua, so you choose either one lah dalam case ni. So meaning if you accept one, okay, you're going to reject the other one. Okay, so if you think A is better, then you accept A, reject B. Or if you think B is better, accept B, reject A. Okay, so that's mutually exclusive projects. Okay, for A and B. Tapi kalau lah both A and B ni is independent, so maksudnya kat sini they perform different tasks or unrelated tasks. So therefore, you may choose more than one. Okay, you may choose more than one. Ni ada salah kat sini, tukar perkataan ni. Where acceptance of one doesn't mean you have to reject yang lain. So meaning, if you accept project A, tapi project B pun profitable katakan, so you can accept both. Okay, and vice versa lah. Tapi kalau lah, katakan lah, project A yang profitable, B is still rugi, walaupun independent, you still choose A sahaja lah. Okay, so that's why I said may. Bukan dia kata you have to choose more than one, tak. You may choose more than one. Dengan syarat, both for you is profitable. Okay, and dia bukan macam mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive tadi, if both profitable pun, you still have to choose one je. Okay, but for independent, you may choose more than one. Dengan syarat, it's meet your requirement in terms of profitability contohnya. Okay, so what's the importance of these two? Decisions. Sebab dalam soalan capital budgeting, dia akan at the very last nanti dia akan tanya which project to choose contohnya. Justify. Okay, soalan-soalan standard dia. So kalau lah dia dah mention dalam tu mutually exclusive, then you know lah you akan pilih salah satu je. Tapi kalau you missed the word independent, you dah kira-kira semua. Sebab cara kira, regardless mutually exclusive or independent, the way how we calculate, the way we analyze is the same. There's no difference in terms of calculation. But the decision nanti. Okay. Kalau lah dia tulis situ sebenarnya independent, but you choose only one, contohnya. So yeah, the decision marks tu you tak dapat markah penuh lah. You may miss some marks kat situ. Tapi the way, the process, the analysis will be the same, no issues. Ya, cuma in the decision process je. Contohnya macam ni lah. Okay. I gunakan soalan December 2015 Kalau tak ada soalan ni nanti you download. So soalan nombor 2. So ni contoh soalan regarding capital budgeting. They give you 2 projects with initial outlays and then 5 years of cash flows macam ni. Then dia bagi rate of returns and then dia suruh cari all the methods lah, the techniques. Tapi dia tanya which project to invest and why. Dia tak banyak lah markah dia, but still kena tahulah is it independent ataupun mutually exclusive. So dalam case ni, the projects are independent. Salah je. Betul lah, independent. So the independent meaning, kalau project A and B profitable, you can accept both. Tapi kalau you decide satu je, then you salah yang ni lah. 1 mark lah. But technically you are selecting the wrong projects. Ataupun incomplete projects. Anyway, since saya dah buka ni, I'm going to use this example untuk illustrate to you all the methods. So what are the methods? Kita ada 5. We have 5 techniques kat sini and categorized into 2 category. The non-discounted dengan discounted cash flows. So what's the difference between non dengan discounted? You remember tadi dalam time value of money, we have one technique dipanggil discounting kan, where we use present value ataupun present value annuity. Okay, so that's discounted cash flow. So all 3 techniques ni akan menggunakan either present value ataupun present value annuity. Kalau dia ada annuity lah. Okay, but for the non-discounted, dia tak gunakan konsep time value of money. Dia tak care about this. Okay, so we have 2 here. So total, we have 5. So we have around, I don't know, 45 minutes or so ni. I'll try to finish all 5. Okay, and I tak guna, I have to go back here untuk tengok notes. Sebenarnya I boleh, maybe I write everything on the whiteboard je lah in terms of the formula as well. Nanti you refer balik dalam notes ni lah untuk formula again. Okay, tapi sebab I nak gunakan soalan past year tadi tu sebagai reference. So I'm going to put this side here and I'm going to write on the right kat sini. So we have 5 tadi So non-discounted cash, apa tadi nama tu? Non-discounted technique. Non-discounted technique. Ada 2. Number 1 is payback period. And the second one is average rate of return. Okay, for discounted technique DT, kita ada, I continue the numbering lah Kita ada net present value, profitability index, and the last one, internal rate of return. Okay, all of this, dia punya notes, dia punya formula, dia punya discussion ada dalam my slides tu Tapi because of this, I'm gonna use this, nama dia, whiteboard on the right ni je untuk illustrate all 5 menggunakan question 2 December 2015 December 2015 punya past year. So first kita kena tengok dia punya cash flows for these 2 projects. Okay, first bacalah atas This corporation to decide which should they invest in. These projects are independent. Like I said, bila independent dia unrelated, so meaning you can accept both kalau dua-dua bagus. We have 5 years cash flows, and if you notice dia punya pattern of cash flows ni for project A, dia uneven. Okay, 80 naik to 100 and then naik to 200 and then drop to 100,000. But for project B, as you can see, dia consistent. So again, kalau you ingat konsep time value of money tadi, this is annuity. Okay, annuities. Ini And for this, kita panggil dia uneven. Okay, uneven. Right, so sebab dia tak sama kan, so dia uneven. So what's the implication between uneven dengan annuities? How we calculate our formula. Okay, cuma bezanya hanya appear on payback period. By the way, I tak follow sangatlah soalan ni sebab soalan ni tanya 4 je. Okay, so I will show you all 5 menggunakan soalan yang sama. Okay, so first, so di December 2015, question 2, right? So we're gonna go first payback. Okay, or in short PP. Okay, payback period or PP. So untuk project A dengan project B, so we have 2 different stream of cash flows, uneven dengan annuity. So cara kira dia lain. Okay, so for payback period project A, this is for uneven I letak A, tapi this is actually for uneven. I letak formula dulu. Formula dia adalah year minus 1 Okay, letak dulu formula, nanti I'll explain one by one. IO ni initial outlay minus accumulated cash flow before year, and we're going to divide everything by cash flow for the year. Okay. So ada 3 years ni. Kat sini year, kat sini year, kat sini year. So what does it mean by year? Year here represents which year we can recover the cost. By the way, when we talk about payback period, this is basically how fast can we recover the cost. Okay, how fast we can break even dalam bahasa mudah dia. Berapa lama nak balik modal. Okay, so meaning bila kita nak balik modal, the faster the better lah. Okay, the faster the better. So we know the outlay, the cost is 400,000. So kalau you tengok project A ni, tahun pertama dia recover 80,000. So 80,000 cukup tak nak cover cost 400? So the answer is no. 80,000 baru 80,000. So bila kita accumulate tahun kedua 80 plus 100,000, baru 180,000, still short from this 400,000. So kita kena keep on accumulating every year sampai kita recover at least the 400,000. Okay, sampai 400,000. So kita kena calculate manually one by one each year ni sampai we recover at least 400. So 400 atau lebih lah. So meaning 80 plus 100, 180 plus another 100, 280. Okay, tahun ketiga still tak recover, but tahun keempat, fourth year ni, so bila kita campur 4 tahun berturut-turut ni, 80 plus 100 plus 100, 280 plus 200 lagi, 480,000. Yes, maknanya tahun keempat project A recovered. Okay, tetapi adakah dia exactly tahun keempat? The answer is no lah, sebab in year 4 dia dah recover 480,000. So we want to know at 400,000 ni bila actually, when is the perfect time ataupun the correct precise time, when. So that's why we need to use this formula. So we dah define the year ni tadi as 4. Sebab tahun keempat lah dia recover at least the 400,000. So in fact pada tahun keempat dia dah recover 480,000. So we use 4 as our year here. So substitute semua year yang ada dalam ni dengan 4. Okay, so meaning it's 4 minus 1. Okay, year ni substitute dengan 4 sebab ada circle ni, sebab dia dah recover. Year 4 untuk project A 4 minus 1. Don't forget the plus sign. The initial outlay is 400,000. And this is accumulated cash flow before year 4. Sebab kita dah define 4 tadi kan. So maknanya jumlah terkumpul cash flow ni sebelum tahun keempat. Before year 4. So before year 4 is year 3 lah. Sebelum tahun keempat is year 3 kan. So accumulated 3 years earlier ni adalah 280,000. Okay. 80 plus 100 plus 100, 3 years ni. So 280. Okay. So we divide with cash flow for year 4. Okay. Again, substitute year ni dengan number 4 sebab kita dah define dia sebagai 4 tadi kan. So cash flow for year 4 is 200,000. So 400,000 minus 280 divided by 200 plus 4 minus 1 is 3 plus 3. So it's equivalent to 3.6 years. Okay, so untuk project A, dia akan recover balik cost dia dalam tempoh 3.6 years. Sebab ingat dia tak sampai 4 tahun ni. Right, so exactly is at 3.6 years. Okay, kalau you dapat 4.5, salah lah sebab you know. Kita dah define tadi 4 years kan. So dia punya answer tak patut lebih daripada 4 years. Okay, or else something wrong with your calculation tadi. So I repeat, it's year minus 1. So year ni define macam mana? Define by we add on every year sampai the year we recover the cost. Okay, mesti sampai cost Kalau you stop sampai 3, you letak sini 3 minus 1, so dia akan affect your calculation later lah. Okay, so define properly until recover the cost. So dalam case ni 480 dah recover the cost year 4. Tapi we know it should be faster than 4 years. So kita substitute 4 kat sini. Year ni semua dengan 4. So IO we know 400,000. So accumulated is 280. So how I know it's 280? Sebab accumulated cash flow before year 4. So maknanya year 3 lah, before year 4 is year 3. So accumulated amount dia 280,000, right? And then we divide with the cash flow for the year 4, which is 200,000. Okay, semua dekat dalam ni 4 lah Untuk atas ni cuma ni template, yang bawah ni semua year 4, year 4, 4, 4. So solve the equation, then we get 3.6 years. Okay, ini untuk project A, which is for uneven. Okay, but for annuity, sebab project B annuity kan, sebab amount dia semua sama, the formula is much simpler. Okay, you just take IO, initial outlay, then we're going to divide with average cash flow. ACF ni average cash flow. So apa average cash flow? Cash flow dia sebab semua sama kan. So secara purata kalau you nak kira pun is 132,000 je. Okay. So what does it mean? The IO is 480,000 and the average cash flow is 132,000. Itu saja. 480 divided by 132. So it's 3.64. Okay, sebab dia punya decimal ni agak dekat kan. And masa kita calculate tadi memang exactly 3.6, so I put 3.6 lah. Tapi untuk case ni dia ada point banyak decimal, so I just keep 2 at least kat sini. Sebab kalau I keep 1, dia akan sama. Dia akan jadi 3.6 juga kan. So to make it difference, I put 1 more decimal kat belakang ni. Okay, so now we can see the difference a bit lah. Walaupun tak jauh banyak, but yeah. For project A is 3.6 years, but for project B is 3.64 years. So ada 0.04. 0.04 ni kalau nak convert kepada tahun, 0.04 ataupun kepada bulan, it's actually tak sampai sebulan pun difference dia. Setengah, about 2 weeks different je. Okay, about 2 weeks different. But again, still play a role kat sini lah. Kalau you nak decide between the two, kalau you nak based on payback period sahaja, okay, we're gonna choose, kalau dia kalau truly eksklusif, we're gonna choose project A lah sebab it's faster. Okay, sebab dia lagi cepat kan. But if it's independent, macam soalan ni dia independent kan, so katakanlah your company's requirement, dia tak ada dalam soalan ni lah, tapi katakanlah assumption dia, for every project you invest, you kena recover dalam masa 4 tahun. Okay, mesti balik modal dalam masa 4 tahun, katakan. So both projects will be accepted. Macam contoh soalannya independent. Both can be accepted sebab dua-dua recover before 4 years. Okay, so that's our first technique, payback period. Okay, and only payback period dia ada 2 different set of formula. Okay, 2 different set of formula untuk uneven dengan annuity. And the rest, kejap lagi you akan nampak formula dia kita boleh apply for both. Tak kira lah annuity ke uneven ke, we're gonna use the same formula. Okay, so next, number 2. This is for average rate of return. Okay, and I'm gonna write the formula. Sorry. Okay, semua formula yang I tulis kat board ni, whiteboard, so-called whiteboard ni, ada dalam notes and you can refer later. So I simplify je kat sini. So average rate of return, formula dia would be average cash flow. Sama macam ni tadi lah, ACF ni, average cash flow. And we're going to divide with average investment. Ni formula basic dia. Okay, so kalau kita nak apply, so basically kalau kita nak cari for each one, average cash flow ni is basically the sum of cash flow bahagi dengan N. Ni kita totalkan semua and then bahagi dengan N dia 5 tahun. Kalau ni tak payah total lah sebab kita tahu is 132,000 untuk project B. Untuk annuity, average cash flow is the same macam tadi lah. I guna 132,000 kan. Tapi for project A, kita kena puratakan lah. Kita add everything and then we divide by 5 to get the average. And for average investment is basically IO plus salvage value kalau ada, divide by 2. Okay. Salvage value ni hanya applicable kalau melibatkan machines. Machines mungkin ada salvage value, harga, bahasa Melayu dia, value ni selalunya at the end of life cycle, lifetime of the machine tu, kita boleh jual dia sebagai scrap value. Okay, so ni scrap value lah untuk machine tu, kita boleh recover balik certain amount of money balik. Okay, so sales value ni kita kena masuk dalam kita punya cost kat dalam ni, right? Tapi kalau tak ada, macam dalam contoh-contoh projects, we don't have salvage value, so technically we take IO, we divide by 2 sahaja. So contohnya for project A, average rate of return for project A, we have to calculate semualah tadi dah calculate lah. So 80 plus 100 plus 100 plus 200 plus 100 again. So kita ada 580,000 total dia. So 580,000 kita kena divide by 5. This will be our average cash flow. And for average investment, IO kita 400,000. And we're going to divide by 2. So bila darab 100 kan sebab dia bila rate ni, you know lah, times 100 kat sini. Yeah, 58%. Okay, 58%. Right. Untuk project B, ARR for project B. The average cash flow, kita tak payah calculate macam ni lah sebab 132 times 5, lepas tu divide by 5 balik. No point lah nak kira kan, it's 132,000. But the average kita kena kira lah, 480,000 divide by 2. So 55%. Okay, so kalau payback period tadi, this one ni 3.6, ni 3.64. So the better is this one. Sebab faster kan, tapi dalam case ni sebab dia independent, kita tak boleh decide lah mana lagi bagus sebab dia tak mention berapa dia punya requirement kan. Okay, but in terms of better, kita akan tick project A is better. Untuk average rate of return is 58 versus 55. Again, project A is better. Okay, sebab when we talk about return, the higher the better lah. So 58 versus 55, 58 the better. The better options. Okay, as of now, sebab dua-dua ni adalah based on non-discounted technique. Okay, so both so far menunjukkan project A is better. But that's not will be our deciding factors. Okay, the deciding factor actually, okay, out of 5 ni okay, letak star juga. You gonna use MPV as your main technique. Okay, your MPV ni later on yang akan decide which project you akan pilih. And it will be supported by the rest yang indicates that project yang MPV tunjuk ni lagi bagus tu sebagai your final decisions. Maknanya kat sini, masa number 5 ni kejap lagi, yang this one, which project to invest ni, you jangan guna payback period as your priority, as your primary techniques. The primary techniques would be the net present value ni. Okay, yang I letak star ni. This is the one, the major technique yang you gonna refer to untuk decide. So bila kita dah calculate MPV kejap lagi, kalau dia decide katakanlah still project A is better kejap lagi, then kita akan pilih project A lah. Kita cakap lah project A have sebab dia katakanlah ni muncul lagi kalau you pilih satu je lah higher MPV and also faster payback period and higher average rate of return contohnya. Okay, sebab semua menunjukkan project A is better. Tapi kalaulah project E is better, kalau dia muncul eksklusif, you akan pilih project B. Walaupun the first two tadi kata project A is better but since MPV tunjuk project B is better, then you gotta choose project B sahaja. Okay, so jangan mention yang payback period A lagi cepat, ARR A lagi bagus, no. Just mention MPV kata project B is better, contohnya lah. Right? But again, dalam case soalan ni, it is about independent. Okay, so kalau independent, again kita guna NPV juga. So cara pemilih, cara decide, for NPV kita nak positive values. NPV ni menunjukkan sama ada profit ataupun tak. Present value of our cash flow tu, is it still recover the cost or not? Okay, so kalau positif, both positif, so kalau independent, kita boleh pilih dua-dua. Okay, tapi kalau lah mutually exclusive, you're gonna choose whichever higher. Sama macam yang tadi lah. Okay, so I will use next one dekat sini. Net present value. Ataupun in short, NPV. Okay, net present value. So what would be the formula for NPV, net present value? So this is the first one under discounted cash flow. Okay, maknanya kita akan gunakan balik, we're going to use this table again. Okay, what kind of table? Tengoklah kalau dia annuity, cash flow yang annuity, kita guna PVIFA. Kalau dia non-annuity ataupun uneven, we're going to use the interest factor yang single saja, single payment. Okay, so the formula would be total present value. Okay, PV ni present value of cash flow. Kita nak cari total ya, total present value of cash flow minus dengan initial outlay. Okay, so formula dia sama, applicable for both annuities and also uneven. Okay, but difference would be how to find this total present value. Remember, kalau dia annuity, kita boleh guna PVIFA, meaning lagi cepat. But kalau dia uneven like this, kita kena calculate one by one. Okay, we need to calculate one by one in order to get the total present value of cash flows. Just like my second example tadi yang multiple transactions, yang ada 8,000 and then 5,000 tadi kan contohnya. So ni contoh untuk uneven jugalah. So therefore we need to calculate one by one to get the total present value, and then baru we minus with IO. And IO for project A is 400,000. So let's try to find net present value for project A first. Okay, so I will use this parenthesis ni untuk cari total present value. So first cash flow is 80,000. Remember untuk konsep present value, ingat kan? Nak cari present value ataupun annuity lah whatever, it's amount times dengan PVIF kan? KN. So kita guna konsep yang sama. So kita guna dengan dua ni untuk dapatkan present value. Cuma bila total kita add everything lah. We have 5 years cash flow ni kan. So we're going to add 5 different cash flows. Tapi dia punya layout will be amount darab dengan PVIF punya values. Sebab this is single payment kan. So I'm going to use PV lah. Present value punya table PVIF. So 80,000 amount yang pertama. 80,000 darab dengan PVIF. The K dalam soalan ni is 12%. Okay, so we have 5 years. So kena cari satu-satu lah. 12, 1, 12, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So tahun pertama 80,000. Cari dekat PVIF 12% year 1. So PVIF make sure, bear with me. PVIF. So make sure table yang betul. Ni PVIF. So I kena back and forth 3 benda kat sini board, future value dengan soalan ni. So 80,000, berapa persen tadi? 12 So 12 kat sini, I ke tengah sikit. Okay, 12%. First, yang pertama is 0.8929. Okay, plus, this is the first cash flow. Second, berapa 100 tadi 100 2 kali. So 100,000. Second cash flow. Tengok 12%, 2 years, 0.7972. Salah tulis ni tadi, 8929. Sure tulis betul. Okay, 8929, 0972 for the second 12% year 2. Then the third year pun 100,000. 7118. Plus the fourth year The fourth year is 200,000 So 200,000. 7118. The third one, the fourth one is 0.6355. Okay, this is the fourth year, and the fifth year is 100,000 balik. 0.5674. Okay, so this whole parenthesis ni is my total present value cash flow. So that's why I said, untuk multiple transactions yang different values macam ni, kita kena calculate one by one. Okay, dalam example tadi, I bagi you 2 tahun je, 8,000 and then 5,000. Okay, but here, it's every year, but with the different values. So this is not annuity, so kita kena calculate one by one. And then we have to minus with IO lah. IO dia berapa tadi? 400,000 Okay, IO dia 400,000. So then kita carilah value dia. So you can cari everything in the bracket ni using your calculators. Make use lah your bracket kat bawah ni. So 80,000 times 0.8929 plus 100,000 multiply with 0.7972 plus setiap kali lepas plus tu you letak bracket 100,000 lagi times 0.7118 plus 200,000 times 0.6355 plus last one 100,000 times 0.5674. So I have here 406,172 minus 400,000. So 6,172 ringgit is the answer. Okay, 6172 is the answer untuk net present value for project A. Still consider positive maknanya bagus lah. Okay, so it's a positive sign. Maknanya the income that they generated will recover the cost in today's value. Okay, so ni nampak PV dia 6 marks so ni most likely akan bagi you at least 3 or 4 marks. Okay. So for project B, MPV for project B, since this is annuity kan, so you boleh juga substitute je sebab you dah dapat 0.89, 0.79 semua ni you dah ada, you boleh substitute je dengan 132,000 for each one. But why kita nak susahkan diri dengan calculate one by one if we can calculate. Okay, the one in the bracket je guna 132,000 darab dengan go to PVIF PVIFA table, which is the last one here, PVIFA. Okay. Rate yang sama 12%, time yang sama which is 5 years. Okay, 5 tahun je. 5 tahun juga, which is 3.6048 yang ni. 12%, 5 years. 3.6048. Okay, this would be the total present value cash flow minus the IO. Okay, IO dia 480,000. So berapa? 132,000 times 3.6048. 475,833.60. Okay, but remember the cost is 480,000. So negative 4166.40 cents. So dalam case ni for project B, right, unfortunately it's negative kan. So therefore, once you see a negative NPV, automatically we're going to reject this project. Tak kira lah dia independent ke, mutual exclusive ke, once you see a negative net present value, we're going to reject this project. So based on this, so far, kita dah boleh answer yang question number 5 dah. Which project to invest? Okay. Which one to invest is project A. Walaupun dia independent so technically like I said, if you accept A, you can accept B. Tak semestinya you reject, but in this case, sebab dia negative, you have to reject project B. So therefore, for question number 5 ni, which project to invest? So you should invest in project A. Reason? Why? Because positive NPV ataupun higher NPV, faster payback period. Sebab payback period dia lagi cepat tadi kan project A. Mana tadi sebelah ni? Ni. 3.6 versus 3.6, walaupun slightly faster sekejap je, beza dia very near. Okay, and the return pun nampak lagi bagus, tapi dari segi net present value dia, project A is better. Okay, project A is much better. Okay, so that's NPV. So kalau I nak calculate, this is number 3 calculate number 4, immediately sebab NPV dengan profitability index ni, profitability index ataupun in short is PI, we're going to use the same information. Kita tadi NPV is total present value of cash flow minus IO. Untuk PI, formula dia adalah total present value of cash flow. Okay, sama information yang sama. You divide dengan IO. Tadi you minus, now you divide. So that's why every net present value ni I tulis the subtotal ni. I boleh je tolak siap-siap tadi kan, but I need this information, so that's why I write the subtotal first. The one in the bracket ni I cari dulu subtotal, baru I tulis. Why? Because I need these two information setiap satu ni untuk calculate profitability index. So you can use that as a habit jugalah. Okay, to help you to calculate PI for project A dulu. Profitability index for project A, it's total present value of cash flow dia, yang ni 406172 ni. And you're going to divide with 400,000 the IO. So you dapat 1.02. Okay, 1.02. Kalau profitability index for project B, it will be 475, 833, 60 cents. Yang ni divide by 480,000. Okay, you dapat 0.99. Okay, so as you can see here, the PI for project B is less than 1. So anything less than 1 is not acceptable lah selalunya. Okay, usually is associated dengan negative values kat sini. So if you get negative NPV, your PI usually will be less than 1. Okay, so this is the alternative way to look at the present value lah. Okay, so ni dalam bentuk index. Sebab index ni lagi easier to compare kalau you have different projects from different countries ke, different time ke, sebab sometimes the value of profit ni can be subjective. Okay, so therefore we use the total present value of cash flow dengan the IO in order to get it in index format, in decimal format. So the higher the index, the better for the decision lah. So dalam case ni again, sebab dia less than 1, so PI project A is better dalam case ni. Okay, so as of now, kita dah ada 4. We have payback period, we have average rate of return, we have net present value, and we have profitability index. We have 4. And out of these 4, okay, in fact, in negative is 1.02, 0.99. So all menunjukkan project A is better. Okay, but again, since this is independent, sepatutnya you boleh pilih dua-dua kalau dua-dua meet requirement. Okay, if it's mutually exclusive, memang hands down memang project A lah. Semua project A bagus kan, so tak mungkin you pilih project B. Okay, and kebetulan sebab project B ni negative, okay, we gonna choose project A juga sahaja. So again, as I said, for number 5, which project to invest, sekarang kita dah ada PI, you boleh tambah PI juga as your justification. Sebab PI pun tunjuk project A is better. Okay, so in short, you gotta say which project to invest. You will invest in project A because higher MPV, higher profitability index, faster payback period. Okay, ikut soalan ni ARR tak ada tapi kalau lah disuruh calculate, you can put average rate of return is higher as well. Okay. Tetapi katakanlah MPV ni positif. Katakanlah mungkin positif dia RM2,000, katakanlah 2,000. And PI dia 1.001 contohnya. So if it's independent like this, okay, you're gonna choose both. Okay, dengan syarat MPV ni kena positif juga. Okay, MPV positif, automatically you're gonna choose both. Sebab dia independent. Remember independent you can choose more than one. Tapi since dia negatif, so jangan pilih dua lah. You jangan pilih B ni because rugi. Okay, but if it's mutually exclusive, again still project A will be chosen sebab dia punya MPV is higher. Okay, so rule of thumb as a final message ni, we're going to choose whichever MPV yang lagi tinggi and dengan syarat must be positive. Kalau dia independent, if both positive, you choose both. Kalau mutually exclusive, whichever higher. Tapi kalau ada satu negatif, choose whichever positive regardless mutually ataupun independent. That's the rule of thumb. And sesuaikanlah yang lain, the PIs, the payback period, the ARR kalau ada, to support your justification. Itu sahaja. Right? And technically we have one more left. Sebelum yang the last one tu ada soalan tak? Okay, so we have payback dah, ARR dah, NPV also dah, and also PI. So we left with IRR, internal rate of return. So for this internal rate of return, the last one ni, technically we have two projects kat sini kan, but I will teach you how to calculate the IRR, internal rate of return, just for one project saja. Okay, which is projects with annuities. Okay, project with annuities. Sebab selalunya, the question will ask you to find internal rate of return just for one project. Just like this example, question number 2 ni, dia kata IRR for project B. Sahaja. Okay, 5 mark banyak ni. Kenapa dia tak suruh buat project A? Sebab project B, A kalau dia nak suruh buat, dia akan bagi lagi banyak marks. Tak cukup dah markah nak bagi. Satu. Second, how to calculate for the uneven series ni would be slightly, I can say lah sebab kita nak calculate manually ni kan. So it's slightly difficult. Because it involve the process of trial and error. So you have limited time to do. Bukan tak boleh buat, boleh je buat. It will take slightly longer time. So dia tak nak you buang masa untuk calculate. So therefore, dia akan selalunya fokus on the annuities sahaja. And because of that, I'm going to teach you how to calculate for the annuities je lah. Tapi kalau you nak tahu about both, dalam notes ni ada. Okay, in the notes ada cara macam mana nak buat. Okay, kalau you nak tahu sangat, nanti boleh. Nanti you try. Dekat internal rate of return. Kat sini. Okay, dia ada satu section for the uneven lah. Okay, but like I said, for us, I will teach you internal rate of return for annuities sahaja. So this is the one. To simplify untuk IR. Nanti I akan tulis balik kat board lah. Nampak macam susah ni, tapi not that difficult I think. Okay, so if we recall balik, both MPV dengan PI ni, we use the same information, total present value cash flow and also initial outlay. Okay, and these two are discounted techniques kan. So items yang sama for both. And for number 5, number 5, the internal rate of return ataupun IRR ni still, okay, dia akan revolve around TP pula lah, present value, PV. TPV. Apa lah T? Total present value. Okay, total present value of cash flow minus IO still sama. Nampak macam NPV kan? But for NPV just now, okay, just to recap balik for NPV just now, kita gunakan, ingat total PV ni tadi yang ni, yang atas ni kan, amount dalam PVIF K dengan N, whereby the K ni kita guna the 12%, the required rate of return, okay, ataupun the cost of capital. Tapi untuk IRR, kita nak cari the rate ni. What is the K? What would be the rate of return if the total value ni tolak dengan IO akan bagi you 0. So technically, this value, total present value of cash flow ni, dengan jumlah IO ni mesti sama. Bila sama baru dapat kosong kan. So kalau dalam soalan ni tadi, the IO is 400,000. So at what rate this total present value is equivalent to 400,000 as well? At what rate? Sebab kalau kita guna the 12 tadi, the rate is 406 406. Kita nak cari total present value ni exactly 400,000. Exactly 400,000. So macam mana nak cari? Okay, so this is where we use the IRR. And we have 3 steps macam mana nak buat. Okay, and based on my final note dalam time value of money tadi, dalam topik time value of money ada tutup topik tu. Okay, kan masa kita buat nak cari rates yang 15 years tadi, kita dapat 8.0607. Yang this one, PBIFA tadi PBIFA yang ni sorry, highlight semua dah. Okay, yang ni kita letak 8.0607 and then kita dapat exactly 9%. Okay, but I ask again, what happened kalau dia in between kan? So this is where we use what we call the concept of interpolation. Okay ni, interpolation. So this interpolation can be used here and can be used dalam time value of money tadi. Okay, konsep yang sama. So kalau you try to find the rates, tak semestinya rates, sometimes rate ataupun sometimes N ni pun boleh juga in between. Kita akan gunakan konsep ni, interpolation. So how to do it? Right, step number 1. Okay, step number 1 ni applicable untuk IRR sajalah. So for IRR, step number 1, what you need to find, kita akan recycle balik the concept of panggil apa tadi? Payback period. Okay, whereby we're going to use initial outlay and we're going to divide with average cash flow. So IO untuk project B, sebab soalan ni project B by the way. So kita guna project B ni information lah, 480,000 and divide with 132,000. Divide by 132 tadi 3.64 tadi kita dapat kan. Tapi tadi kita nak cari dalam tahun. So I letak 3.64 years. Mana tadi? I kat sini 3.64 years. Alright, but for this internal rate of return, kita nak cari interest factor. So this is actually to find the interest factor. Find interest factor. Okay, so the interest factor, bila kita dah divide, kalau you tengok dalam table ni, the interest factor dalam 4 decimals. So kita akan ambil yang 4 decimal. So dalam ni, 4 decimalnya adalah 3.6364. Okay, 3.6364. I ambil 4 decimals. Sebab senang nanti kita nak calculate untuk ni. Okay, kita try to be as close as possible lah with 4 decimals. Okay, so this is the first step. Find the interest factor. How? IO divided by average cash flow. Kita dapat 3.6364. So this is our first step. Okay, so once we have this interest factor, so step 2, ni sama macam yang tadi. Step 1 ni tadi, based on exercise tadi, kita solve the equation. Kan, we solve the equation. But for step number 2, sama, kita akan go back to the table. Okay, ingat this is annuity, remember Untuk internal rate of return, kita hanya buat annuity sahaja. So make sure refer to PVIFA annuity. We want to find the rates, the K, tapi kita tahu N dia ada 5 tahun. Because the question bagi kita, N dia 5 years. So the N is 5 years kan. So cari dalam PVIFA 5 years. Step ni I besarkan dulu benda ni, and I am going to remove all this. And dah tanda ni. Okay, so refer to PVIFA. We know the N is 5 years, and our interest factor just now, it's 3.6364. So cari 3.6364. Okay, 3.6364 is in between of these two rates. Okay, dia ada 3.69 dengan 3.60. So our 3.63 dekat tengah-tengah ni. Okay, make sure you need to find two rates, one higher and one lower values than our IRR. Okay, our interest factor is 3.63 kan. So memang tak ada exactly lah dalam ni. So therefore, it's in between of these two rates. So we're going to use 11 and also 12%. Okay, 11 and 12%. So for step number 2, kita akan letak, so I'm going to make it smaller-ish. So kita dah highlight tadi, it's between 11 and 12. So untuk step number 2, kita dah tahu it's 11 dengan 12 kan. So we're going to put the lower rate, 11% here. And the rate is 3.6959. Kat sini, 36959. And the interest factor yang kita calculate tadi is our IRR. Okay, internal rate of return. Okay, it's 3.6364. Okay, and the next one is 12%. It's 3.6048. Okay, so for step number 2 ni, to make sure your IRR yang kita cari from step number 1, 3.6364 ni, mesti in between. Kalau you salah pilih rates ni, you katakan you guna 10 and 11, 3.79, okay, memang lagi tinggi, tapi the second one still higher, kan, 3.69 lagi. So salah lah. So make sure one rate has a higher value, second rate has a lower value than IRR. Okay, so IRR ni mesti in between. So ni 11% ni kita panggil dia lower rates. Yang ni is the higher rates. So kita ada dua rate, 11 dengan 12. So our answer will be in between dua ni. So it can be 11.1%, it can be 11.9%, 11.99 even kalau nak two decimals. So bila you calculate nanti, tak mungkin jawapan you 15%, tak mungkin jawapan you 7%, cannot be. It must be in between 11 and 12. Right? So, belum habis lagi ya step tu. So, next you need to do for second step ni, find two differences. First difference is between top and middle. These two rates you can minus. Find the difference. So I'm going to put this difference number 1. So 3.6959 minus 3.6364. You have to minus you dapat 0.0595. Okay, so this is the first difference. Okay, 3.6959 minus you minus with 3.6364. Okay, and second, you need to minus between the top juga and the bottom. Tadi top and middle, now it's top and the bottom. So maknanya 3.6959 minus 3.6048 minus 3.6048 dapat 0.0911. So this is your second difference. Okay, rule of thumb again, your first difference must be lower. Tak mungkin ni lagi besar daripada yang belakang sebab you dah naturally letak in sequence kan. So the first difference must be smaller than the second one. So the gap is wider kan, between the first and the last one ni. Okay, therefore the second difference must be higher. Okay, so that's complete our second step to find the two differences between the top and middle. Second is between the top and the bottom. Then kita dapat these two. Okay, so once we have this information, then kita boleh finalize dalam step 3. Step 3 is basically to complete our equation. So to find the K, this is basically to find the rate. To find the K, the rate of return, it's lower rates. Need to find K lah. Lower rates, tak mungkin 12. Sebab kalau letak 12, nanti value dia akan jadi 12 point something ataupun 13 contohnya. Sebab kita tahu the rate is in between of 11 to 12. So kita starts with low rates, 11%. And we're going to add with, this is the interpolation lah, the interpolation. We're going to divide with, we're going to plus with a division between the first difference, and we're going to divide by the second difference. Okay. And we're going to multiply this with higher rates minus lower rates. So higher minus lower. So 12 minus 11 kat belakang ni. So technically the difference is 1%. Okay, the difference is 1%. So bear with me kejap 1 second. Kalau you tengok dalam notes, dia tulis in total lah dalam panjang . So lower rates plus, ni yang letak ke belakang, is lower rate value minus IRR. So ini top minus middle. This is top minus bottom. Lower minus higher rate value. So I dah simplify ni dengan I letak 1 and 2 tadi lah. So, kita dah buat 1 and we dah find number 2. So once you have this formula, so to find the K, the lower rate is, ini bukan K sebenarnya. This is IRR. This is your internal rate of return. So the lower rate is 11% plus, so 1 is 0.0595 divided by 0.0911. Okay, always the smaller value divided by the higher value. Okay, and then multiply with the difference between 12% minus 11%. So solve the one at the back first dalam bracket tu. So 0.0595 divided by 0.0911 times the difference 12 minus 11 is 1% times 1% plus 11%. So here we have 11.65%. Okay, 11.65%. Okay, so check. Yeah, it's fit the profile 11.65 in between 11 dengan 12 kan. Kalau again tiba-tiba you calculate dapat 13%, 14%, which is not in between of these two rates, something wrong with your calculation. Check balik. Your answer should be in between of 11 dengan 12. Okay, so dalam case ni is 11.65%. So that would be our internal rate of return for project B. Okay, and like I said, I will only show you for project B sahaja, because most of the time they will ask you to find internal rate of return for annuity projects only. Okay, so this is how you do it for annuity projects. Okay, 3 steps. Step number 1, find the interest factor. How? Just take IO divided by average cash flow. So for 80 divided by 132,000 dapat 3.6364, and this is the interest factor that we're gonna find in the table. So bila tengok dalam table, you tak dapat, unless you dapat straight away macam dalam contoh tadi 8.0607 kita dapat 9% kan. So kalau lah you dapat terus kat situ, then that solve your problem lah. You tak payah calculate lah step 2 and 3. So that's your final answer. But most of the time you akan dapat dia punya rate, so in between of 2 rates. Okay, dalam case ni is in between 11 and 12%. Okay, it's in between 11 and 12%. So therefore these two rates kita letak dia in between, and we find the two differences. Okay, make sure divide minus top and middle dengan top dengan bottom. So dalam ni pun dah tulis tadi dalam notes ni top minus middle divide by top minus bottom. Cuma simplify kan lah dalam bentuk macam some drawings kat sini so that you can follow through easily. Right, so then you divide between the two. darab dengan the difference of two rates. So dalam case ni kebanyakannya memang 1% lah. Kebanyakannya kalau you tengok table ni, semua difference ni memang 1%. Kecuali kalau you go towards the end. Sebab my table, it depends on table, setiap table different, tapi kalau you refer to my table, dia ada some gaps kat sini, 60 dengan 20, 20 dengan 24, so 25 dengan 30%, so ada 4%, ada yang 5% difference. So sometimes it can be more than 1%. So just focus ataupun just stick with the higher versus low rates, then you will be fine. Kira lah berapa percent difference between the two. Okay, and then solve the equation, then you get lah the internal rate of return. Okay, so in summary, kita dah buat all 5, tapi kita tak boleh conclude yang untuk the last one lah. Sebab kita tak buat for both. Tapi technically, between the first 4 dia, sorry dia tak sama size kat sini. Between all 4, memang all techniques shows that project A is better than project B, and since this is independent, okay, mana tadi? Even though it's independent, we cannot accept project B because it has negative NPV. So therefore, like I said for the last time ni, the project that we will invest will be project A because higher ataupun positive net present value, faster payback period, higher ARR, average rate of return, and higher profitability index. Okay, and that will give you all 10, 15, 19, 20 marks ni. 20 marks for all of this. Okay, for payback 6, 5, 4, and 1. Okay, and this question pun akan ada jugalah in our second test. So talking about second test, by the way, sebelum cerita pasal second test, ada soalan untuk capital budgeting. Okay, so hopefully kalau tak dapat tangkap atau tak faham, please refer back to the videos. And again, we have another group punya videos juga kalau you nak refer to, kalau nak tengok. I use untuk project project lah. Untuk group B tadi, I use the one in the notes saja. So you guys lucky lah sebab I use past year question so that you can experience the actual question ya. Yang tadi I guna notes dia tadi. So the ones dalam soalan dalam notes ni, I use this. Macam mana nak kira, sebab ni sebenarnya dah ada jawapan kat belakang ni kan, tapi I explain one by one lah again, one by one how to find. But yeah, you can watch that video jugalah untuk refer ataupun to cross check dengan solution ni. Okay, apa lagi? For second test, dalam announcement last week I letak the test will be on the 18th. I dah tanya pun in previous meeting kita nak buat on the 18th sebab I know this week kita tak sempat nak buat sebab ada 2 topik lagi tak cover. So kita dah cover everything technically. So for test number 2, it will cover short-term financing, long-term financing, time value of money yang tadi tu, and also capital budgeting. So remember our second test ni technically is your final exam sebab paper ni tak ada final. So your second test tu the substitute for your final exam. So that's why we cover a lot kat situ and cover the most important components juga. And dalam banyak-banyak assessment, test tu je I will not release the marks. Yang lain tu nanti I akan release later lah. Your first test, your assignment, your online quiz, your group project, semua I akan release the marks later. Okay, tapi untuk test tu I will keep it sampai you akan tahu masa official result keluar nantilah. Sebab tu like I said, it's like a substitute for final exam. And again dalam announcement tu I cakap it will help on the 18th. Tapi masa tu I cakap petang. Tapi I tak sure, ada some of you yang text me, I tak sure group ni ataupun group satu lagi tadi, cakap petang tu you ada oral test for Mandarin or something. Okay, so they request to cepatkan the test. Okay, so I decided to cepatkan the test to 10 o'clock in the morning. So maknanya date yang sama, 18 of July juga. Tapi kita awalkan kepada pukul 10, 10 to 12. Alright, itu je announcement, final announcement lah. And since this is our final meeting, I would like to take this opportunity juga to apologize for any shortcomings throughout the semesters. Since kita memang face to face je kan, so kalau lah ada time tak dengar ke apa je, just so sorry, and thank you very much for your attention. So anything you can always text me, always refer to the videos. Kalau tak nak tengok group ni juga, you can look at the other groups punya sessions, especially for different exercises. And I will upload as usual the videos once it's available lah. Alright. Again, thank you very much, and inshallah I'll see you guys later. Alright. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Doktor.
Thank you, Doktor.
Thank you, Doktor.
Salam.
Thank you, Doktor.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.